matchups. They'll have a lot to say on the playoff picture going forward with only a few games left for everyone. Let's not move past how good the NWSL was this past weekend. And I want to kind of go through the highlights of what I thought most stood out for me for each game and finish it off saying a thing or two about the Kansas City Current, who now sit at the top of the NWSL table, which is wild. And for someone like me, someone like anyone here in KC who went to games last year, who, was a part not just of the season last year and how hard that was to watch at times, but also, seeing FCKC fall apart, move to Utah, the team moved back, and now to be sitting here, seeing all the work they did this past offseason, bringing in the stadium, bringing in a practice facility, all privately funded, and just to see where they are. It's such a real talking point for this organization and really shows you that they mean business, not just off the field, but on the pitch as well. And anyway, we don't need to get into that now. We can talk about that a bit later. And I've also written about that a lot, and I'll post some of those articles down below if you're interested in reading just how KC got here. But let's start off talking about Amber Brooks, journeyman NWSL center back, and the legendary performance that she put in this past weekend when Washington won 4-3 over the San Diego Wave, courtesy of a 90-minute plus 10 minutes of stoppage time penalty kick goal that saw Washington pull out a 4-3 victory over San Diego Wave. A rough loss for the Wave, but hey, this was peak chaotic NWSL energy. And not only did they win with a stoppage time penalty kick, but Washington Spirit, like I said, Amber Brooks scored 2 goals in the first half. A first half brace from a journeyman center back. Not something we all had on our bingo cards. But not only that, she's also involved in a penalty decision that she kind of got twisted up in the box. I saw Alex Morgan put in another one of her braces. And Alex Morgan is very close. She's 4 goals away with 4 more games to tying Sam Kerr's all-time scoring record. And she's been on a roll lately too. So 4 goals in 4 games, that's asking a lot consistency-wise, but she scored a brace here in this game. And you never know what's going to happen towards the end of the regular season. But ball don't lie, and the Spirit had a huge upset over the Wave. Moving on, highlight number 2, Crystal Dunn is back, folks. She was practicing and with the national team last weekend, and actually celebrating on the field here in KC last weekend as well. So you got the feeling that she was close to coming back, especially if she's traveling with the national team, if she's being involved in, especially with, the important games coming up. But just 5 months post-pregnancy, that's very quick. But knowing that, she made her return, didn't get a ton of minutes this game, right? Comes on as a sub in the 80th minute. But it's such a good sign, especially with this Portland Thorns team that easily won 2-0 over Orlando Pride. To have Crystal Dunn coming back into this team that's already operating close to on all cylinders, to have Crystal Dunn working her way back into fitness as an option off the bench is just a luxury no other team in this league will have. So even if Portland don't end up clinching that first seed, KC Current are able to keep it, stick with it, Portland definitely still probably the favorite to win it all. But as we've seen in the past, the playoffs, it isn't always the best team that wins. It's the best team in the moment, and that's what matters most. So, highlight number 3, the Courage offensive onslaught continues. They win this one 5-1 against Racing Louisville. Racing Louisville, who have a lot of their own problems right now to sort out. They may be looking at another coaching change, or at least some members of their fan base are asking for it in a way. And they just haven't been able to figure it out from the start. They've, had starts and stops, and they've just never been able to, sniff the success that they clearly want in that organization. But it's hard, right? It's a 12-team league, and there's so much quality in this league. It's hard to be a competitive team all the time. North Carolina, with that offensive trident of Carolyn, Dabinia, Ordonez, Carolyn and Dabinia both had 2 goals in this one, and Ordonez, up until this point, had been in the scoring title race. And it's hard to really see at this point, with North Carolina playing the way they are, a way that they don't make the playoffs. And we'll talk a little bit more about the playoff race as we kind of go through these highlights a little bit more. But Chicago Red Stars are holding on technically to that last playoff spot, although Angel City are ahead on points percentage. And North Carolina, 5 points back, still with a game in hand on Chicago, but they've been playing really well. And their problem all year long was their defensive struggles. They've never had problem putting the ball in the back of the net. It was more of that everything was so loosey-goosey all over the place that not only were they able to get players forward, but the fact that they were able to get players forward was leaving them very easily picked apart on the counterattack and, just in their defensive structure in general. So seeing them figure that out just makes them such a harder out, especially with who they're playing over the last few games of the season. They have some really influential games. Next week they'll be playing Angel City on Wednesday, which that's a playoff race 6-pointer, if you will, and they're gonna have a hand in who makes the playoffs and who doesn't, even if they don't technically make it. If I'm projecting out, I almost like them better than I like either of Angel City or Chicago Red Stars, but we still have a couple more games before I have to make that decision. Moving on, Rose Lavelle did what? OL Reign drew Chicago Red Stars, the aforementioned Chicago Red Stars 2-2, but Rose Lavelle put in this fantastic effort that I will put up here in the corner so we can watch it together. So she fakes going outside and is just able to strike it, put it into that side netting. Such a fantastic goal, and one that would be very much a clear winner for goal of the week in any other week but this week. Because moving on, Maria Sanchez in last night's Houston, LA 1-1 draw, which is a wild game too, especially seeing this goal happen from Maria Sanchez. And then on the other side of the half, Jane Campbell making a just real uncharacteristic mistake when she goes to pick up the ball and just isn't able to corral it. And Angel City is there to knock the ball around and essentially walk it into the net. But let's take a look at this Maria Sanchez goal.
They do go short.
So she's able to just pick the ball up and put on a rocket of a goal. There's just nothing you can do here because a little give and go creates her just a little bit of space. She picks her head up and just launches it into the side net across the entire box. And I don't know, what do you even do there? You just throw your hands up and move on. So that's essentially our appetizer into the real highlight of the week. The highlight of the week for me as a Kansas City and as someone who covers the Kansas City Current, Casey Current, top of the table, baby. Wasn't a pretty game in yesterday's 1-0 win over Gotham, but you got to win those games. Winning on the road in NWSL in general is tough, especially when you had the amount of travel that these teams have had recently with the international window, with coming back, and now having to play multiple games, midweek games, weekend games, and a lot of travel. But even though there's a lot of travel, and especially for Desiree Scott, who of course is Kansas City Current's captain, she was only able to get back from Australia in her Canadian national duty assignment on Thursday night. So not a lot of downtime to recover and get back into the swing of things. And this game was a little bit disjointed to start. So maybe that plays into, some of that, but it was also raining. It was also sloppy. And Gotham, for as terrible as the record is, always seem to play everyone pretty well. They're not as bad as the record might make you think. And they made some really good adjustments against KC Current here as well. The adjustments that they make to start the game really forced KC to, open things up a little bit more than I think they wanted to. And outside of a first-minute chance from Claire Lavager, who is lining up at the top of the box, and really fluid in how she lined up, because she starts off as a striker, but is then able to, fall back into the midfield a little bit more. And by the end of the game, that we see some adjustments being made by Matt Potter and on the KC Current side, is playing in more of your number 10, your typical number 10 role. So KC just has so much flexibility that even though Gotham were able to game plan pretty well for what they were going to bring out of the gate, and honestly, KC is lucky that they didn't concede to Gotham. That's where AD Franch kind of comes in when you're not at the top of your game, when you have a world-class goalkeeper. That's going to paper over a lot of those cracks that may be in your game. And something we aren't talking nearly enough about is how good AD Franch has been this season. And KC don't have anyone that's leading in any statistical categories. So you look at that, you say, yeah, team-wise they're playing well, but they've also had just such solid goalkeeping, such solid defensive play that they also just, win for each other. It's a well-cohesive group. They've won 13 in a row now, and they win this one after Claire Lavigier is just dribbling through the entire Gotham midfield and takes on defenders 2-on-1 and is dragged down in the box. Lola Bonta at this point had been subbed out for Chardonnay Horan, and she's not a penalty kick taker. So who's your penalty kick taker? The one and only Haley Mace. So Haley Mace comes in, skies it, rooftop goal, and KC are still just solid on penalty kicks so far this year. And that's all you need. A 1-0 win. And when you look at the XG, which I'll post the game flow right here, this is a game that KC still deserved to win, but it was definitely close. And you can see the first half, Gotham actually had them where they wanted them. And it was only because KC were able to make some adjustments outside the second half. And one of the adjustments that was real nice, so they took out Labonta, they brought in Chardonnay Horan, who plays more deeper in the central midfield. She's actually lining up next to Desiree Scott. And Claire Lavigier was playing in more of that number 10 role, like we said, with Mace and Delfava on the wings, and then your two up top. And that seemed to work out really well. Not only were KC able to get more offensive chances than they were in the first half, and honestly, not even that much. They were just able to control the game so much better than they were in the first half. You can see from the game flow that Gotham really stopped, especially after the 60th minute where that change occurred. Gotham stopped really having offensive chances or chances of any sort of consequence after that. So anyway, those are my highlights for the week. We'll be back, of course, with some more videos later on this week. I'm going to try to put out some more than I have been. And we'll have to talk about those games on Wednesday, because coming up we have Kansas City Current against the Chicago Red Star, a little Midwest derby. Chicago, of course, holding on to the last place playoff spot by points, and then Angel City FC and North Carolina Courage are playing against each other as well at the same time. So we'll know a lot more about the playoff picture. We're coming up. Most teams only have 4 games left. Obviously, it's not always that easy in this league, as the Courage still have a game in hand on most teams, and I believe Angel City does as well. So we're getting to the point where everyone's going to be even on games played, but we're not there yet. And by the time we get there, we're going to know a lot about the playoff picture. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. What was your highlight this week? And out of the Red Stars, the Carolina Courage, and Angel City, who do you think is going to end up being that final playoff spot? Let me know down in the comments if you liked this video.